Some small businesses can't afford a directory listing, but they have skills and they have talent. Their talent matches the hard work and the know-how. Their workplace can be from the kitchen or a van. The business might be set up in a home or a garage. You don't find these providers listed in a book directory, but you can find them on EQICaribbean.com, the online tool you'll need to search for products and services. Because as long as you are searching, we'll be here to list them.
Right, so we're here with, actually we're in the paint. Tonight we have a special guest in the paint. We're bringing the Bajan Scout, the man who usually gives us these nice fantasy picks, Alan Pinder. We're bringing him in the paint, along with Avenger number 1, Teron King. Apparently Avenger number 2 get lost in one of his Avengers, so we will proceed before him. All right, so Teron, we'll go to you first. What about the East? What's happening in the East in the NBA?
Well, as you know, the NBA season is a marathon, and it seems as though, even though they start off slowly, the Brooklyn Nets are actually catching themselves quite well. I think Harden's playing a bit better, and that's really energized that team. And they've actually won a couple of games in a row, and they're sitting on top of the East comfortably. Chicago is still doing good things, even though Vucevic is out. Miami's in a bit of a slump and a slide after that bad road trip, and they had a couple injuries. Washington is doing incredibly well. No one saw them looking this good this early. Well, I for sure didn't. And the others are like the Pacers and teams like that. They look good, but they're still losing games by small amounts. So I think the East is actually well balanced as opposed to previous years when it's been top heavy.
Well,
I haven't seen the Bucks well though.
Well, you notice that the Bucks now they are now winners of 4 in a row.
They are
back to 10-8. The difference between the Bucks at number 7 and 10-8 and the Brooklyn Nets is just 3 games. So
exactly.
You see how close the East is.
The Bucks had quite a few injuries as well, so that's probably what impacted them as well.
Right.
Early on, so I think they're now starting to get healthy. So I think this should start to pick up in the standings a little bit soon too.
Okay, so Teron, what about your rookie? You were talking about the rookies that in the conference that doing well. What about you? Who do you see doing well as a rookie?
Man, for me in the East, it has to be Scottie Barnes. Scottie Barnes is one of those guys that you can sign straight out of the draft, and just he affects your franchise so much. He's doing so much for that team. Toronto looks good, and I really didn't. They're not like deep playoff run good, but they're a lot better than I thought they would be, especially starting the year without Siakam. And I think that has a lot to do with Scottie Barnes. He's strong, he's solid, he can do almost anything on the court. I think that he was a solid pickup for them, and they could build around going forward in the future.
Okay. And your second year man that shocking everybody.
Well, I don't know if it's much of a shock. He was very, very highly touted coming in. All the kids love him. For me, it has to be Lamelo Ball. Lamelo has exceeded my expectations for sure. He's actually shattered my expectations because I thought he was just hype, but he has proven to me that he's a legitimate NBA player, and he could actually be a star in this league someday.
So, well, we talk about the East, and you give me your second year man and the rookie. They got some teams. Well, Philadelphia had a slide because they're having some injuries and COVID has affected them.
Yeah, they got hit by COVID.
But I want to speak to Alan's team, the Pacers. And they're not doing too badly. They're not widely considered the NBA elite, but they're doing pretty well for a team who lost a couple of their starters. Alan, what do you say about your team?
A Bajan Pacers fan is interesting.
That is a rarity. I think I may be the only one on the island for the last maybe 10, 15 years. So
I never heard of one.
yeah, a little bit of a unicorn here. But yeah, the issue with the Pacers, as you said, they haven't done too badly. I mean, the record right now is what, 8-11.
Yeah.
They played 19 games and 12 of them have been on the road so far.
Yeah,
If you take into account that they have a pretty tight schedule as well. They've had quite a few injuries. 2 or 3 starters have been out consistently most of the time, and they're adjusting to new coaching staff. So, given Rick Carlisle sort of feeling team out, they're not doing too badly. But you can see there's some pieces there, but you're still not quite sure what to make of them because they looked really good last night. They beat the Chicago Bulls, the top team in the East. Even though the Bulls had some injuries, had some guys out that game, and they were playing on a second night of, back-to-back. So they look pretty good against them, but I mean, this is the same team that last week got destroyed by the Detroit Pistons. So we're still not quite sure what to make of the team as yet, but there may be some promise there. The guys may be coming together. But I think regardless, there's going to be some growing pains with them early on. So I think by the end of the year, you may have a better idea of if it's a good team, a bad team, or just middling.
Okay.
The Pacers is one of those. Just want to add real quick. The Pacers is one of those low sleeper teams that know top of the standing East team wants to butt early in the playoff. Like they would jump a good team.
Yeah. Out in the West, we have the Warriors and the Suns, because a lot of people was talking about the Warriors, but the Suns, I mean, the Suns now on a 13-game winning streak.
The quietest 13-game winning streak you're probably going to hear about.
Yeah.
What I mean?
The quietest 13-game winning streak of all time.
Yes, the quietest 13-game winning streak. And they went about their business quietly, and they are really second in the West. And then you have the Jazz. The surprising thing to me, though, is Denver and Lakers. Lakers 9-9, Denver 9-8. Now, Denver being 9-8, we could understand they're missing one of their top point guard, and Jokic picked up the injury. But Lakers are 9-9. They don't look well at all.
That's a surprise. That's a surprise to you.
Well, I was hoping that the movie would have been different. I saw this movie before, and I was hoping that the movie would be slightly different. But apparently, the movie is going. There's only 18 games, so let's hope that like 30 games we are not saying the same thing.
You referred to Denver when you mentioned Denver's injuries. I think you still need to refer to the Lakers. They've had quite a few injuries. Leafs have not LeBron, and he's suspended tonight as well. But I think some of the role players have been injured, and I think they need everyone on that team right now. So I think injuries have played a significant role in their record as well. But they haven't looked as good. You're true. They haven't looked as good. True.
Right. And of course, we can't talk about the Lakers and not talk about that want to be Malice in Palace, because really it was a dust up that wasn't a dust up. I really am not sure how to really look at that.
I feel as though that could have been a lot worse if he had actually gotten through, to be honest. So we're just glad I didn't turn into much else.
I saw the replay and I didn't. At first, I thought it was, an accident, but he actually pushed off his hand. I don't think he meant to cut him, but once you get hit on, we as basketball players know that once you get hit on anywhere over your eye, anywhere on your face, it's blood coming. So he was very upset because I think when he saw the blood, then it got him even a little, stroke got a little even rolled up.
Yeah, definitely got more triggered when he saw the blood coming down the face.
Yes. In the West, though, I saw that Luke Walton lost his job.
We all saw that coming.
Yeah, well, to be honest, the kids are so bad I didn't even notice them. So I didn't even notice that, that he was still there, to be honest with you. But he has now lost two jobs. He left the job from LA, but we all know that he was not LeBron's guy. So You
He
know,
left before he was pushed.
yeah, he left before he was pushed. And he
Correct.
went to the Kings, and he didn't really do anything down there. But to be honest with you, the Kings not a very good team. They drafted Bagley, and he has been fairly poor. So
But
they drafted him over a lot of other good players. I will not call the other good players, just in case that people actually found out who he was drafted before. So now we are in the West. The Warriors look to be the team in the West, but we also cannot discount the Phoenix Suns. My issue in the West, though, is the Golden State Warriors have a differential of 13 plus 13. They are holding teams to 101 and scoring 114. Now,
and then 30.
which is fairly decent. Phoenix is also holding people to 104 and scoring 111, so they got +7. But Utah Jazz got a bigger plus than them, and they're sitting in third. But overall, the West, I am going to be honest, the West is not as good as I thought it would be. I thought the West would be a crackerjacker. It's not turned out to be like that. I think the East really is the one now that you should really turn your thoughts on. Because when you get past 10 in the West, you're guaranteed that those teams will not win again. But in the East, Pacers can still jump someone as they did with Chicago Bulls. So the East to me looking a little bit better than
the East may be the East may finally be the slightly stronger conference now. I think what hurt the West a lot was the injuries to some of their better teams. The Kawhi being out, the Clippers are not going to be a serious factor, and with Murray being out, I don't think Denver's going to be a serious factor either. So I think if those two teams were in play, they may have more parity between them. I think without those two teams, the East has definitely improved significantly. So I think there's probably a bit more parity between the conferences now than maybe last 10, 15 years.
Okay, so now we're here though, Alan, and you're the man that gives us the fantasy picks. Right now I'm struggling in fantasy, so you have anything for me that I could use in fantasy?
Well, right now, when I chat in the ESPN leagues, Dylan Brooks seems to be available in quite a few. He was injured for the Grizzlies early on, and I think he's healthy now. He came back and he had a 20-point game, so I think you could take a chance on him and see if he could probably turn your chances a little bit. But as you know, at this time of the season, most of those high flyers, most of those guys that you may have been sat on a little bit are probably going to be off the board. But when I check, Lu Dort seems to be available as well. He can help out in certain spots. He had a 30-point game for the Thunder last week. And THT from the Lakers, he was really good when he came out for injury, but he seems to be only really a good factor when LeBron is out. So he may get some good production tonight potentially, but once LeBron's back later on this week, not quite sure how much you will get from him. But those are probably three guys: Dylan Brooks, THT, and Lu Dort, probably the three. I think they've got it.
Okay, that's a good tip. I will try to see if I can find one of them to practice my fantasy team, but I'm still struggling in the middle of the table. So we know that usually we have the two Avengers picking on pick 5, but tonight we will get Mr. Pinder, the Bajan Scout, to actually pick for Avenger number 2. So here we go. So the first game we're looking at is Denver at Portland. Denver at Portland. Who are you going with, Teron?
I'm going to have to go with Denver. I think that Jokic is just too much of a problem for them, and they don't have anyone to stop him really. He's that much of an advantage, so I'm going Denver.
All right. And what about you, Alan?
Well, I'm definitely going to go with the Blazers on this one. Denver's on a 4-game losing streak. Portland seems to be finding their footing recently. Damian Lillard is playing better after his very slow start. So I think the Blazers probably will have the advantage.
It's funny.
Okay, well,
It's funny that those two teams are trending like that, and they both have the exact same record right now.
right. So I
Interesting.
will go with the Blazers because Tehran going with the Denver and they're trying to catch it. So then we have
And I think Portland's also at home too, so I think that would help.
okay.
Yeah.
Toronto at Memphis.
Memphis.
You're going with Memphis. So you're going with Memphis too, Alan?
I like how the Raptors have been playing recently. Although if Anunoby is still out, actually Memphis might be the better pick.
Exactly.
If Anunoby plays, I think there's a chance he might. I will like Raptors now.
Okay, so you're going with the Memphis.
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right, so I will go with the Raptors just because Tehran is going with Memphis. On Friday, we have Phoenix at New York. Now, this will be an interesting game. Phoenix will be on the road against New York. They are on 13 games by that time, maybe more. Phoenix.
New York's offense has looked atrocious in the last couple of games, so I'm going to go with Phoenix.
All right, so you're going with Phoenix. What about you, Alan?
Yeah, I mean it's hard to bet against Phoenix right now. Yeah, New York is a little shaky recently, and I mean you don't get much better than the Suns right now. But but they are going to roll, and it's MSG, so I mean the next night I think I have a good chance there. But yeah, I gotta go with Phoenix.
Okay, so I go with Phoenix too, just because James Jones is the general manager, and we kind of have a relationship. So I'll go with Phoenix. Orlando is at the Cavs on Saturday. Now this should be a very interesting game. This is one of these games that you scratch your head and try to figure out if it makes sense playing basketball.
I would have normally gone with the Cavaliers here because unlike Tehran, I actually prefer Evan Mobley as the top rookie right now in the East. But he's hurt, I believe. So I think I'll still go with the Cavs. Cavs are playing really good basketball right now. So I think
so I'm going with the Cavs. And Tehran, you're going with Cavs?
Yeah.
You're going with the Cavs. I will go for Orlando. I will take the L. I take the L for the team.
Or the dub. Never know.
Right. And then we have on Sunday, GSW at the LA Clippers.
Yeah, that Golden State team just having too much fun. It doesn't mean anyone that bets against the Golden State Warriors right now in anything needs to be drug tested. Like they're on fire. They're having fun. I think that's when they're most dangerous to when they're just enjoying the game. And it feels like Steph's personality has just been contagious to all those young guys. And yeah, I'm not betting against the Warriors.
Well, I will go with the Warriors as well.
Well, I may need my cup for my drug test, whether it's most convenient, because I think I may go with the Clippers on this one. They are playing very well, won 7 of their last 10, and I think they're built that they could slow down Steph a little bit with PG and their backcourt. So I think the Clippers might put a little upset here. So I'll go with the Clippers.
We shall see.
I only hoping that the only person will be that end up being upset is you. So let's hope that the Clippers pull this off for the Bajan Scout, Alan Pinder. So thank you, Alan, for joining us here in the paint. Tehran, Avenger #1, thank you very much for joining us. And next week we will have a surprise as part of court in session. But for right now, the court is adjourned.